What's up, everybody? This is Whiskey in the Six. I'm Rob. It's the holiday season. I'm coming to you guys with my second annual Christmas whiskey guide. So what I'm going to do is go through a bunch of whiskeys under $50, under $100, under the $200 mark, and then over the $200 mark. This should give you an idea of what to be looking for if you're shopping at the LCBO in Ontario. This can also help you if you're shopping elsewhere. I tried to pick things that were globally available, so let me know what you guys think in the comments below after my list, but here we go. So under $50. You're looking at the Canadian Club 100% Rye. This is a $26 whiskey right now at the LCBO. Not too much you can buy that's sippable at that price range, especially in Ontario. Definitely something that if you don't want to break the bank, you should buy. Send that to a friend and I'm sure they'd be happy with it. It's great in cocktails and like I said, you can sip that. Number 2 in this category is the Evan Williams Bottled in Bond. I've reviewed this earlier on this year. Excellent bourbon for the price. In the US it goes for dirt cheap. In Ontario you're looking at around $28, $29, something like that. And it's just a fantastic whiskey. Looking at 50%, which is nice to find at that price range. You don't really find that much. So very cool stuff. Check it out. Last in this category, you got the Rittenhouse Rye. Notice how I didn't put too much Scotch. I could have talked about the Deanston Virgin Oak, but I've talked about that before. Scotch is basically not available under $50 at the LCBO. The two that I've listed in the past, you can check out my last year's video. The same rules apply, okay? But Rittenhouse Rye, great stuff for the price. That's under $50. Under $100, you're allowed to open up a little bit here now. A whole bunch of different ones. I'm gonna try to give you guys the best bang for your buck at the moment. So you got Highland Park 12-year-old. I always brag about this stuff. It's 43% in Ontario. It's $64.99 until January 6th. So it's on sale, $5 off. You can't, that's including tax, so you can't beat that price in Ontario. There's very little available, especially at this quality. Guys, stock up on the Highland Park 12-year-old, $64.99, that's a steal. Glen Grant 12-year-old is one I haven't reviewed just yet. That'll probably be coming out next year in a review. Very nice stuff, not incredible, it's not gonna wow you, but it's very quality stuff for $70 Canadian. That's much less in other places, but in Ontario, that's under the $100 range. Very, very nice. So the LCBO surprises us every once in a while and gets these fancy bottles that are not available everywhere. The Deanston 2008 Bordeaux red wine cask. It's a cask strength whiskey. It's $98 at the LCBO. Probably a little bit less in other countries and other provinces, but for that price and the fact that there's actually a decent amount of availability at the LCBO, pick it up. It's a great present. It comes in at $98. Fantastic stuff. Last one to cap off this category is the Aberlour A'Bunadh or Aberlour A'Bunadh. Doesn't matter how you pronounce it. What matters is it's a cask strength Aberlour sherry bomb. That's fantastic stuff. It's probably one of the best priced whiskeys when you factor in this is a tax in $99 Canadian at the LCBO, and I know for a fact this is going for more in provinces that I like shopping in and more down south. So at $99, the Aberlour A'Bunadh at the LCBO is a steal. Alright, so the under 200 category. This I could go on for a while because there's a ton of excellent whiskeys here. Moving into Christmas, I only wanted to pick 4 or 5 that you guys can narrow down on and choose. There's a couple of my all-time favorites on this. Lagavulin 12-year-old. It's a cask strength whiskey. It's unsherried. It's all ex-bourbon cask. Just a nice peat note. Overall, excellent dram. I highly recommend it if you're a little bit of a peat head or you're trying to get into some peat. You're buying that gift for someone that you know likes peated whiskeys. That's a fail-safe that they will love. Bunnahabhain 18-year-old. This is a can't miss whiskey. People that love Islay whiskey love this whiskey. People that don't love Islay whiskey love this whiskey. It's a great Scotch at around $170. It's expensive in Ontario, but if you're used to Ontario prices, this is one of the better ones you can find under 200. One of my all-time favorites, the Glengovne 18-year-old. I love this stuff. You guys know that. It's around 170 in Ontario. You can get it for much less in other provinces. You can get it for less in other countries. But in Ontario, this is still one of your best bang for your buck, satisfying type whiskeys. Like I said, it's $170 here. Fantastic stuff. I believe that there's different versions that have been sent to different provinces as well as different countries. But this Kilchoman PX I had an opportunity to try at a bar. It comes in at $1.99, which is expensive for a 6-year-old whiskey or 5-year-old whiskey, whatever it actually is. But it's fantastic. It kind of reminds me of what I love about those Octomore whiskeys. Young, heavily peated, but super sweet wine cask influence. Really, really good stuff. You guys got to check that out. And last but not least in this category, one of my favorites this year for sure, might or might not be in my top 6 whiskeys of the year that'll be coming out at the end of this month. It's the Macallan Classic Cut 2018. This bottle is beautiful. This whiskey is incredible. Honestly, it makes for an incredible gift in my opinion. The box is the only thing that kind of holds it back, but the bottle itself is just fantastic, and I'll give you a nice little glimpse of that right now. It's just presentation to the T, as well as a fantastic whiskey. All right, so check that out. All right, now we've reached the over 200 category. Not everybody's looking for a gift in this price range. Actually, probably most people are not looking for a gift in this price range. This is probably the category that executives downtown are looking for. They want to impress their boss. These are the boss impressor type bottles. You start with the Bowmore 25-year-old. Now this is an Islay 25-year-old Scotch that has ex-bourbon and ex-sherry influence. At $3.89 in Ontario, it's actually globally one of the best prices you can find this at, based on Canadian price range as opposed to the UK pound or the American dollar, which are much higher. So at $3.89, this is actually one of the LCBO steals. Let's look at a bottle that's going extinct. Still readily available at the LCBO, but globally it's in high demand and it's flying off shelves. There's not very much of it left. They've discontinued this a few years ago. It's $460 at the LCBO, but you can get it for cheaper in other provinces, so don't panic. But if you're looking to really impress your boss, let them know that this whiskey will no longer be available, and it's a fantastic whiskey. It's the Highland Park 21-year-old. If this one was readily available and continuing to be made, I wouldn't make such a fuss about it. It's super expensive, close to $500, but the fact that this is not going to be available for much longer is why I think you guys need to jump on this. It's the perfect gift for someone that you really respect and you really think will enjoy it. Just a fantastic whiskey, so keep your eyes out for that one. Okay, moving into a heavy hitter category again with the Talisker 25-year-old. $400 at the LCBO, but I've seen it for just as much in the US as well as other provinces. It's not a cheap whiskey, but it's a fantastic whiskey. It's very similar to something like the Highland Park 25-year-old, just a lot less expensive. So that's something you really want to keep your eye out for, because when it's here, it goes pretty quick. And before the holidays, what better than a gift that's flying off the shelf, and you can present that to your boss or someone you really care about. This next one is going to go into the gift for yourself category. It's not that readily available. A bunch of it came to Canada. It's spread throughout the provinces. It's not available in the LCBO, so I apologize to my Ontario viewers. But if you have a chance to pick up the Glengovne 30-year-old before this becomes astronomically priced in the secondary market, I highly, highly recommend it. I have it up here. I've done it on a live. You guys can check that out. I haven't reviewed it yet. I'm going to wait till the new year to do that, so look for that to come. But this whiskey is phenomenal. You can buy it anywhere between $800 and over $1,000, so I don't even know how much we're talking, but really, really expensive stuff. By the time you're talking taxes and shipping and all these other things, it can get very, very pricey. So like I said, this is probably one of those things that you either want to give to a sibling, or if you have the money and you really want to just treat yourself this Christmas, that's the one to do it with, because it's one of the best whiskeys I've ever tried. The Glengovne 30-year-old. Alright guys, that's my list for 2018. I hope you guys have a happy holidays. I hope you have a Merry Christmas. I could have included more in this, but I wanted to make it as short and sweet as possible. Any of those choices will be great, and I think they'll be greatly appreciated. If you guys like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you really like the video and you haven't already, click that subscribe button, share with some friends, and you guys can check me out on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. I answer comments on all 3 of those forums, as well as the comments below. Cheers guys, Merry Christmas.